Sure.
You never know.
I like the article on pickleball.
Okay, good evening and welcome to the January 18th, 2023 meeting of the Park and Rec Committee. I'd like to call the meeting to order and we'll do roll call. So go down the line and please state your name.
Brian Vincent?
Terry Cope. Mary Larson.
Jeanette June.
Ann Monkey, staff.
Okay, next on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the November 21st meeting. Anybody have any edits, or do we have a motion to approve those minutes from that meeting?
No changes from my end. I'd make a motion to approve.
Second. Okay, we have a motion by Brian and a second by Terry to approve those minutes. Are there any discussion or any edits? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have petitions, proclamations, suggestions, or complaints from citizens, committee members, or staff. Do any of the committee members have anything to bring today? Okay, and we don't have any community members present today. Okay, rolling on to old business. We'll start with the Lakeside Estates Phase 2 Park Construction Update. Ann.
Good evening, everybody. Just a recap of the Lakeside Estates Park Phase 2, which is programmed within our CIP to be constructed this year. As you're aware, that we acquired a piece adjacent to the 3.4 acres that's going to be developed this year. This was about a 2.3 acre park that includes a playground, a shelter, and a basketball court. And then we acquired the property to the east of the existing park through the development of the property just to the north. So the committee has looked at this over a number of years, and the plan back in 2017 was created really by the developer as a way to complete the construction of their development. They used this area as a stockpile for the development, but then eventually wanted a plan for rough grading purposes. So back in 2017, this site plan was approved. Moving forward in the latter part of 2022, the city hired WSB and Associates to complete the 60% and then 90% plans for the park with the intent of then bidding the park construction out. We're scheduled for that to go to bid in February. I think it's the 27th meeting with the council meeting. So again, we've got some really rough plans from WSB and Associates. The drive comes in and it's a very small parking lot. I think we added like 10 to 12 car parking lot, and then just a small ball field or backstop with benches. And then the remaining area would be open area that the neighborhood could use. But then also we've got trails that actually connect into the neighborhood and then also down into the park. So I just wanted to provide an update on where we were at with the planning process. And as you guys know, we talked a little bit about at the last meeting about the neighborhood surveys that were sent out and the responses. And we did review those responses at the November meeting, and I had a discussion on that. So again, final plans and a request to recommend authorization to be bid will be made at the next Parks and Recreation Committee on February 22nd. And then it will go to the council that following Monday. So I wanted to bring it back and see if anybody had questions, comments, any more thoughts before we really moved forward with the final park plan. So again, that's the only reason for bringing this one forward again tonight.
I just have one question for clarification. Is there access to the parking lot via Marsh Lake Road, or is it just from the development?
Go back here. It's only from the development. We originally, when one of the plans that I think that I showed you last time, there wasn't, because none of this was developed then. So we did have a road coming in off of Marsh Lake Road that the parking lot accessed. And then as the plan finalized with the developer at the time, we brought that drive back in through the neighborhood. Because this neighborhood park, I think, is going to be used really by the neighbors from this area. So instead of bringing it off of Marsh Lake, it was just thought to be better coming in off of the development, so.
And that area is already a little bit higher than the other part of the park, but it looks like there's a berm along the southern Marsh Lake side, correct?
Yes, it's a huge berm.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of grade out in this area. You can see that there's houses, that sit up against this park, and this is kind of a big swale. The existing park, I'm gonna guess there's at least a 10-foot difference between here and then here. I bet from Marsh Lake up to the top, it's probably, I'm gonna guess 15 feet of grade at least, if not 20. So this whole area sits real high, and then there's trees that sit along this area. So
And that will likely stay, right?
yes,
Okay, great.
yep, there won't be any changes to that because we've got there's just too much grade to deal with. And then when Marsh Lake Road expands, they'll use some of this low-lying area that sits below the park, so for that road purpose. So.
And is there any, because of the high berm, or is there any plan either by the developer or the city to plant trees or?
There's
along the-
trees that they're existing already that were
okay.
planted through here.
Okay,
It's pretty heavily wooded.
Oh, okay.
I won't say wooded, it's heavily treed.
okay,
So,
Okay.
That was all done when they graded this site and
Okay.
and the development, so.
okay.
Any other questions for Ann on this? Okay, then it looks like there's a motion that Ann has proposed here to proceed as
I move that we recommend the Lakeside Estates Park Phase 2 project proceed as designed.
Can we have a second?
Go ahead.
Second. Okay, we have a motion by Jeanette and a second by Terry for this motion to move forward the Lakeside Estates Phase 2 Park Project. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, next thing on the agenda is to review and discuss the Park and Trail Project priority listing for 2023 to 2026.
I gave you a copy of our extensive review and ranking of park projects that we went through, I think all of 21 and 22. And I know at the last meeting, it was asked to be brought back so the committee could have a discussion again on that. And I think to reaffirm moving forward when we look at, moving into 23, 24, 25, 26. So no action will be asked of you tonight, but so I anticipate that probably in February again, we'll have a similar discussion or to reaffirm or to make some changes to our list of items I included in the packet. The plans, both parks and trails. Also the CIPs for you to review and look at. Those have been updated since all our conversations about our parks and trail priorities. And then we will be putting a final plan together, a Parks and Rec plan for these projects to work on over, we'll do one in 23, we'll do one in 24. And I believe that that plan, the work plan will go to the city council in March. So that's when we will need some reaffirmment or changes from the committee. So just kind of a quick recap for the 2023 projects. Obviously, we've got the pickleball courts. Bavaria Trail is on track to be constructed this spring and summer. We completed the Lions tennis courts, basketball court, and then the tennis courts at Holy Family. We have Lakeside Estates Phase 2 construction for 23, the Greencrest sidewalk for 23, the playground replacement at Deer Run 2, and then also within the work plan was the relocation of the skate park. So all of those projects, when said and done, hopefully in 23, we will have an anticipated fund balance in the park fund of about $416,000, and then the trail fund about $615,000. So I don't know if anybody has any questions on the 2022, 2023 projects. Pretty much all of these are in the works or will be in the works this spring. So we've already the playground replacement will come back, and then we've got on the skate park relocation a little discussion tonight about that one. Otherwise, I think all of them are on schedule for this year. So
What was the Greencrest sidewalk again?
that's the one that runs from along County Road 43 from 11 down to the Greencrest townhomes.
Okay.
So that was bid along with the Bavaria Trail and then Steiger Lake Lane going out west here to the new development that's going to go out here. So those were all bid last fall and are programmed to start as soon as weather allows. So moving into the 24, 20 through 26 projects. We have the Bayfront Plaza improvements. We will have scheduled playground replacement at Lions Park, Deer Run 1, and Madison Parks. We anticipate that at sometime during this period where the Holy Family tennis courts are going to need to be reconstructed. They had some maintenance done this last year, so we'll see how they hold up. The LRT trail from Kirklocken to Lake Bridge, the Highway 5 underpass at Park as part of the Highway 5 improvements. The South Area Park construction, that's the new Hunters Brook Rolling Acres Park. Lions Shelter 2 improvements, and those are all within your big spreadsheet. The unfortunate part, we anticipate the trail fund balance to be at a negative 1.8 million, and the anticipated park fund balance to be at about 193,000. So I feel a lot more comfortable about the park fund balance because we do get funds from developers. So I have a lot better feeling about that one than the trail fund. So we will have to address that as we move forward. So those are kind of the projects that are on the list for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And a question for you. The Highway 5 trail underpass, do you have any updates on where that whole reconstruction process is? Or is it, would we wait on doing that until other parts of that project are in motion, or is that something we would do separately?
No, it would be done in conjunction with
would be.
5. It's programmed right now for 25.
It is, okay.
Yep.
All right.
So that's the widening of 5 and the improvements at the intersection of 5 and Bavaria and Rolling Acres.
Okay.
So that is planned right now for 5.
All right.
It was really contingent on federal dollars. So part of the improvement package is that there's a match for the trail underpass, so I think it was, you know, like $1 million, and we're expecting to pay for about half of that,
Okay.
so.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
I just have to say, it feels good to see all the ideas that we've talked about and hashed over and processed. It's nice to see, yep, this is on board for, you know, hopefully this year, and this is this year, and this is next year. So
Yeah.
it just feels good to see progress in action.
I was going to comment, I thought that the 2023 list is lengthy. It's a lot of projects in 1 year, which I guess is partly because we had not done some in some previous years. But that's a big list.
It is.
That they are.
Yeah.
So again, I plan to bring this back again. So if you would really like to go through your list of projects that, and certainly, these are all penciled in, I will say. Things can change. But again, like I know we talked about it, the pickleball courts ended up, we were never in our plan and ended up rising to the top. So there's always that chance and possibility that those things will come up, but this is kind of what our plan is for now. So.
And one other question for you on the tennis courts at Holy Family. They're nowhere. We looked at them not this past summer, but the summer before, and they were definitely was ready for some maintenance. But would it be as extensive as what we did at Lions Park this past year?
It is likely going to be that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Fence removal, rip everything up.
Yep.
And would that be a shared cost with
Yes.
Holy Family?
Yes. And we've got that in our CIP as well.
Good.
So.
Okay.
But yeah, they did some maintenance on them. I don't anticipate them lasting for too long just because of the subsurface. We really bulked ours up to last for a really long period of time, and I'm sure when those were constructed back in, I think it was 2005 or 6, they just didn't have the sand base or the gravel base
Right.
that really is needed out in this clay soil.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm guessing they will be, because they've kind of been sliding on one end.
Okay.
It's causing some pretty extensive cracking. So.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah.
So what do we do with the anticipated deficit in that trail fund account? I mean, that's only 3 years away, so that doesn't give us a lot of time for looking for grants or other kinds of funding. So what do we do about that?
Yep. And that's going to be a council decision. The Kirk Locken to Lake Bridge piece, hopefully there's the potential to acquire some of that and not have to pay for it through this process. So that could reduce the amount that we've set aside for that. The Highway 5 trail underpass is, I think, an important connection that the community has wanted. And that we'll have to deal with. So, again, council's going to have to make some tough decisions as we go through these processes and projects, and whether that's through bonding or whether that's through increased taxes, that will be ultimately their decision. So.
A bingo raffle won't get us.
No, I don't think so.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Could take a while.
yeah, could take a while.
Right. Anything else for Ann on this?
So yeah, just to kind of keep that in the back of your mind for the next meeting is we'll have this on again and review and evaluate and reaffirm or make some changes. So.
So you'll have a further discussion at that meeting, so if anybody's not going to be at that meeting and they want to give some input into shuffling things around, just to provide that to you offline.
Yes, that would be great. And I know I'll have some people back and some people gone, so it'll be kind of that rotation
Yeah, yeah.
folks for next meeting, so.
Great. Okay, moving on to new business and the Emerald Ash Borer recap.
So I recently met with our Rainbow TreeCare team to go through our 2022 Emerald Ash Borer treatment plan. We started the program with them back in 2020, so this was our third year of EAB treatments. The original plan and the plan that we move forward with continues to be approximately 900 plus street trees and park trees that we are treating for the prevention of EAB. As you know, Victoria was a lucky community that EAB was found here. It started out on the Arboretum side and it has continually moved. So it wasn't just a matter of when it hit. So I think the timing of our starting the treatment plan was good in that I think we were able to save a lot of ash trees in the community that otherwise would have died had we not started when we did. Part of that program also was that private residents could also utilize and treat ash trees on their private property at a reduced rate as part of our partnership. So as you can see, in 2020, when we started the program, there were 414 public trees and about 115 private trees. The next year, we bumped up to 324 public trees and then 101 private. And so our 900, we were pretty close to hitting in that third year. So that's why you see that small number of trees on the public side treated. But it was good to note that the increase on the private side, hopefully our marketing and our the warnings out to people that hopefully that kind of jump started. So I was pleased to see the amount of private trees that were treated in 2022. So I don't know if anybody has any questions on that piece of it or not before I move forward.
Obviously, this is just trees that were treated by Rainbow, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, because I know in our development, we treat them.
Yeah.
With a different company, but.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're working on getting them treated too.
Yeah,
so.
and I know that there are several vendors out there that folks have used, and so that's great as well. They always love to provide, the amount of CO2 and stormwater, but if those trees were gone, there is a real value in the trees to the community overall. So it's interesting to see when they pull up their metro wide, how big of an impact it really is. So it's kind of nice to get a comparison as to what the saving of those trees does for the community and the environment. We obviously had some challenges last year. The drought was pretty significant, which really stresses the trees. When you get into development, soil compaction is huge. And I know the two-line chestnut borer, which is a beetle that attacks it's a native beetle, believe it or not, but it attacks the oak trees, and especially when they're stressed. So hopefully with all the snow and the rain that we're getting this year, we will not have to be dealing with a drought like we did this year, so.
And have any of the surrounding communities stopped their programs?
Not that I am aware of, no. The ones that I know have started it or previous to us starting are still doing it.
Good, okay.
You know, we will lose ash trees that are out.
Yeah.
You know, we can't
inevitable.
get to every location, especially in the wetland areas and heavily wooded areas and steep slopes. And, you know, you can see areas that have been impacted already by that. So at least I think saving the ones that I think are important with the streets and the parks will be huge down the road. So. So the 2023 to 2025, Rainbow provided a proposal for that. Obviously the cost of inflation, gas, everything, prices certainly have gone up. I did a quick calculation. As you see, the private trees stayed consistent throughout that 3-year period, and those went up about $1.43 per inch. And then in the public side, year 1 it's like 24 cents, year 2 37 cents, and then in the 3rd year it's 49 cents. So the proposal that I have for you tonight, and then we'll be taking to council, really is the 3-year period again that covers all of our trees. We will be, as you can see, like in the bottom, the pricing for the trees, you know, we'll see an increase in the treatment of trees. So some of those trees, when we go out into the field, you know, I think they were anything under 8 inches, they didn't treat. So now that those trees have matured, if they are out there and they're a quality tree, they will treat those. So we anticipate including a few more trees in our treatment calculations. So that's why you'll see an increase in the price back from 2021. So in year 1, we're looking at treating approximately 424 public trees, and a total cost of about $26,768. And then here's our kind of the quick rundown for years 2 and 3. So we'll be looking at a 3-year cost estimate of about $55,000 for the treatment of about, I'm going to guess 950 trees by then. And the tree fund is the funding source for our treatment, and that tree fund comes from developers that pay into it if they have a significant amount of overage of tree removal in their developments. They have to replant, and if they can't replant everything, they provide cash into the tree fund. So that's where we get our money for that. So with that, I am certainly open to questions, and otherwise, if you are okay with moving ahead with Rainbow for the next 3-year period of time, a motion would be recommended.
Questions for Ann? All right, then without any questions, could I get a motion?
I move to recommend approval of a 3-year agreement with Rainbow TreeCare to treat park and street ash trees at a cost not to exceed $55,000.
Thank you, Jeanette. And can I have a second?
I will second that.
Thank you, Brian. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. That is approved. All right, then moving on to reviewing the options for the skate park location.
Sure. As you guys are aware, when we moved or recommended the pickleball court location be at the recreation center, we lost our skate park. So You know, we have looked at some locations, and skate park and pickleball courts are they're similar in noise and needs. So one of the things that I just kind of wanted to run past the group this evening, you know, just like the pickleball courts, we were pretty limited on our locations of where we could go with them. You know, same holds true, I think, with the existing amenity or existing parks today. We're limited on where we can and can't go with them. You know, and I think some of the things that we need to think about are, you know, how much space we need. You know, do we plan to expand? You know, where is that location best serve the community? Is it at a community park central? Is it, you know, somewhere else that we don't know about today? But having also existing amenities like the bathrooms and the water and the shade are kind of critical to its location. Also, the ease of operations and maintenance of those, the equipment. Also, something to consider is the noise. And it's, you know, it's not necessarily just the boards or the bikes or the skates. It's the kids, and you know, I know the pickleballers whoop it up pretty good. So imagine the junior high and high school kids that utilize this type of facility. You know, and then one of the other things, the nice thing that having it at the rec center is that people were there all the time, you know, or majority of the time, so they could see, you know, we could see what was going on, members could see what was going on, so it was visible, you know, it was visible to the community. So, you know, this was the skate park on your left. That was the skate park location. So we're looking at, you know, just to fit that existing equipment in, roughly an 85 by 60 area. So when we looked kind of at Lions Park, you know, we looked at, you know, right next to the tennis courts. We looked at, you know, by the hockey rink. So one of the challenges of Lions, and I'll shoot to the next picture, I think, especially with that hockey rink, is the close proximity to the houses. That was the reason why we didn't put the pickleball courts over here, and also, you know, just again, the proximity. So, you know, one of the thoughts we had was moving it out next to the basketball court or in the open area, which gives us roughly, you know, just from the property line, I think it was about 160 to 170 feet. You know, but it's in a community park already as well, so it's got noise there today. So, you know, too, we looked at expanding the skating rink at some point in time, taking out Field 5. We looked at that as well for the pickleball courts. You know, so that certainly would be an option. You're still fairly close to homes in this area if you were to do it, but you know, one of the ideas that staff brought up was, is there a possibility to include a skating rink or a skate park and an ice rink that would have that nice blacktop surface that we could freeze? So, you know, that's certainly something that we can look at. Currently, our budget for this is about $40,000, unfortunately. So any of these relocation and redoing the ice rink, the hockey rink right now, would end up taking it out of budget. But you know, other options to consider, D-Town Park. We don't really have any room left at D-Town Park without putting it in one of the parking lots, or we would lose a portion of the soccer field. You know, the neighborhood parks that we have, houses are generally surrounding those parks, and you know, they've already got existing amenities in them. They're, you know, so something would have to go if you wanted to go that route, but certainly not a recommendation to put it into a neighborhood park. Goodman Park, which is undeveloped today. We do have houses that are roughly about 150 feet away. But again, we'd have expenses, a lot more expenses. We'd be starting from scratch there. And then the visibility would be a concern. It is right along the trail, but it could be an issue with that. Salter Park, that was considered at one point for a parking lot for downtown. That has one house that really sits there that, that certainly could be an issue, but again, you've got your limited visibility, and so that could pose a challenge as well. So, of the existing facilities that we have today, I look at Lions Park and being the best one that we've got, I think. We could certainly wait and not replace that skate park until we have a more suitable site that maybe we don't know about today that could lend for expansion too of the skate park. So those are some of the things I wanted to have you guys have a discussion about this evening, about where it should go and should we replace it, and provide some direction to the city council on that.
So last year it was put in storage, right? I'm assuming. So did you hear from the community about?
Yes, we have heard
Origin.
from the community about it, wondering where it went and when is it coming back and where is it going to be, and are you rebuilding it till the nets and the fence went up? Then, so yes, we did hear a lot from the community, and we'd do a Facebook post on the pickleball courts, and we'd get some feedback too from the skate park community. So.
Okay. Was it used a lot?
Believe it or not, yes, it is. Especially when they get out of school, they're there a lot of the summer. At nights and on weekends, it gets pretty significant use. And I worked with a group the last time we increased the amount of equipment. I worked with a group of young kids that helped with the design, and I know that they have been pretty consistent users of it. It's a good sized group of kids, and they've been pretty consistent users of it. So, I definitely think it's needed in the community. It's a good outlet for a lot of the kids in the community.
And is the equipment in relatively good shape?
Yes, it's in decent shape. At some point, because I'm trying to think when the first few pieces were purchased. So we bought these back in maybe 2010, and then we bought these maybe in 2018, 19, somewhere in there. I'd have to look for sure. But it's pretty sturdy, heavy-duty equipment.
No, it looked very nice. I remember seeing it before it went into storage.
I don't think it's designed to be moved on and off. If you were to try to do, let's just say, put blacktop on the rink.
Yeah.
We'd have to move it on and off every year.
It always goes into storage, right?
Well, it would have to be, or it would just be put to the side.
Okay. So in the past, it's just stayed out in the winter?
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't, it did when it was here, so. That tends to be hard on equipment, if you have to pick it up and move it.
Yeah.
It is heavy duty,
It's
so
big.
you gotta use big equipment to move it,
So really, at this point, it's just paving a space, correct?
And that was kind of what we were looking at here, and leaving it there. So, and then I suppose you could look at, I think we're looking at about 40 to pave. The challenge would be, do you have much expansion here? I suppose you could. So there's a lot of things in Lions Park too. So,
Yeah.
you know, do you want all of that all in one location, or do you think about, you know, pulling it out to somewhere else that we don't know about today? I don't know, but I do know there's a need for it.
Yeah, I would say, living by the rec center and being at the rec center, that it was well used and the kids enjoyed it. And it was good and it was visible. And, there were amenities, there was restrooms, water fountain, that kind of stuff all right there. So it was a great location. I'm just, and I saw the other options for it, and I thought Goodman Park and the other park, it's too isolated. That's not a good place, even just for the safety of the kids. Those are two isolated places, not a good place. I don't suppose, this is just weird, but the bayfront, there's no room out here where we could put a skate park. It'd be nice to have it downtown and
Yeah.
kids would come down there, but nothing there, and nothing in the new downtown west development.
Yeah, there's probably not enough room, but it's certainly something I know they're doing, getting feedback currently on, what that green space looks like. I don't know if I've seen any skate park come across, but yeah, there's just nothing here.
Yeah,
It's
here.
just, there's too much of grade. And plus we don't own the property, so.
It's hard.
That
It's
adds-
always a drawback,
that adds
isn't
to
it?
the
Yeah, we
challenge
don't
too,
own the
yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked, at some point, we talked about the old Public Works building, and, but, that's that's not real visible either there.
Right,
so,
yeah, you want it someplace where
yeah.
it's visible to people walking by.
And community parks tend to be that kind of thing, so.
That's the one advantage about putting it at Lions, especially by the basketball court, is that it's right off of Victoria Drive. And so it would have a lot of visibility if you're worried about safety of the kids, worrying about graffiti and that kind of thing.
Well, and access too is really important for, the kids, like at the rec center, they had trail, pretty much all the way there, and this has trail and sidewalk, pretty much from almost anywhere in the community, so that's a key consideration too, because a lot of kids ride their bikes there, or they'll take their skateboards and drive down the trail, so if you put it somewhere that they can't access, they won't use it as well.
Is there any, it was in a pretty safe location, nested up against where the rec center building is. Is there any, additional liability that we have, having it be close to Victoria Boulevard like that at all, or no? Okay.
No, it's still a city park, so.
Right.
So, what were the drawbacks or your concerns with having it at Lions Park? Just that it's so tight to the houses there?
Well, and we have a lot of existing things there already, and are we trying to put too much in one spot? Like I said, I think for today, it's probably the best location that I think we have. Because we do have open space here, and is that the best thing to put there? I think that with the things that are there, the parking lot, the bathrooms, it's treed, there's water there.
There are other people there,
There's a lot of people that are in and out of that.
and like you said, easy access to it.
Yeah.
Well, I just personally looking at the options, I wouldn't delay it. I mean, if I think Lions Park would be a good place. There's no opportunities to expand it, but at least at this date and time. But
Yeah,
I think the
that-
skateboard people really want it, and I'm sure they feel like gypped out of an amenity that they had. And just with all the pluses of having it there, I would say go for having it at Lions Park.
Yeah, there is some expansion potential.
Is there?
Yeah, with this open space here. Yeah. But that's about the only spot, unless, like I said, you decide to, you know, completely redo, which we have talked about, you know, do we redo, you know, because this field 5 is not, it's challenging because when the baseball team is here, the fly balls come over here and hit in this area. So, you know, is there a way to, you know, figure out something here? And you know, maybe that's long term. Maybe that's down the road because we don't have it identified in our CIP. We don't have a lot of cash available to redo that because it will cost a significant amount of money to redo that whole site. So you either wait and do it later, or you know, put it on the list of things to look at and figure out what it's going to take to do. You know, again, I still think it's not as visible back here.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And
It's closer to
the houses are a bit closer than the others. So this site is challenging too for a skate park. I think an ice skating rink is fine back here, and I think this whole area should be reconsidered for outdoor ice hockey and pleasure skating at some point down the road too. But if there was an opportunity to do both, you know, I just don't know if this is the right spot from where the neighbors sit and visibility.
Yeah, it's tucked in there because I drove it yesterday because I was trying to figure out where the skating rink was. And so I drove in the parking lot and I'm looking for it. And I'm like, it is really tucked back there. So you can't see it from the crossroad very well. So I think it would be more attractive for vandalism back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would agree with the recommendation that we not wait on it because I think the skateboarders are missing out on it. And I know it's an investment of $40,000 that maybe we would find another location later, but I'm just not seeing other options in the city at this time. I'd sure like to give them their space back.
And when you're looking for the motion, we would recommend a specific location? Is that what you're in that proposed motion?
I would, if you want to move forward with it today, yes.
Okay.
Whether that be, you know, Lions Park, whether that be one of the parking lots out at D-Town, which I've evaluated that and it's not good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
We need the parking space over there, don't you, for hockey and
Yes, and soccer and community gardens and so.
Yeah, okay.
So yes, if that's possible, that would be great.
Okay.
And you know, if you know, I don't know if this is a permanent place or is it a temporary place, but you know, it's certainly something that we can reevaluate down the road to say, you know, is there a better location for this when we have maybe, say, another community park type facility?
Would this happen in '23?
That would be the plan, yes. Yeah.
Because I know it takes a while for the pavement or asphalt to sit before they can actually use
Well, that was the painting. They can use it, it's just the painting that, the asphalt has to sit before they can paint it, about 30 days. So this we wouldn't have to paint.
All right, any other questions, or does anybody want to make a motion?
I don't have a specific, so I was going to let you guys do that.
I move to recommend the location for the skate park be at Lions Park.
Okay.
I would second that.
Do you have a, whoopsie, do you have a preferred location?
No.
Near
I
the,
think
near
it's
the
good.
basketball court
Oh, yeah,
versus,
near the,
No. I was just showing where it could go,
yeah.
or trying to.
I like that. I think it's better visibility. It's versus tucking it back where the ice rink is right now.
I would agree. Okay, we have a motion by Jeanette to approve or make a recommendation for movement of the skate park to Lions Park near the basketball court. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Brian? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion is approved.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Work done, yeah. All right, other business. Talk about the recreation center memberships and check-ins.
Yes, I had some articles in the packet for you.
Some good reading as usual, Anne. Thank you.
Yeah.
I try to make it interesting.
Don't shovel the pickleball court.
We'll be padlocking those.
Yeah, I think they'll be padlocking those.
Well, it seems that, with the big project like the one that we're doing, that it seemed appropriate that, we'd talk pickleball courts or read pickleball courts. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to bring back our monthly memberships and check-ins. So in December of this past year, we did increase fairly significantly over last year, and a little bit of over November. And I anticipate again in January when everybody's kind of into their fitness routine and we've seen a lot of activity within our membership, so I'm anticipating that going up as well. And our check-ins are significant, and those include this fitness center, walking track, and gym. With the holidays, we had a little bit of a decline from November, and also the weather was not great, so we ended up closing for a few days during right before Christmas. So, and again, we continue to offer virtual fitness classes and also in-person fitness classes, and so those are going well as well.
It's nice to see the increase in memberships from December of last year to December of this year. That's a significant increase, so it's trending the right way.
And with that, that is all I have for you this evening.
All right. Anybody else have anything to add? Otherwise, do we need a motion to adjourn? Do we do that? Okay, then if we have nothing else, could I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Okay, I have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, we are adjourned.
Thank you.